Dad wasn't making the kind of dough that everybody just assumes he was, and he was job to job, check to check, and so you're renting places, and food was more important than actual beds.
So I want to take you way back to when you were a kid and growing up, but I wanted to kind of start by talking about your dad. How do you think his poor upbringing impacted you guys early on?
I don't want to judge his upbringing or criticize it, but he didn't want us to experience the same kind of struggles, and those were just basic daily needs, and I do, there's a line in the book where I say that, Dad grew up so poor that his idea of the high life was, having matching socks, And so, I think he has a drive and a determination and a focus, and that moxie I talk about in the book, that he was going to do whatever he had to, no matter what, to give his family a much better experience than he had, his mom died when he was 11, and so that's just take that piece. Where do you go from there? So I can't pretend to know what that would be like or would have been like. But he knew he was really good at what he did and was going to keep getting better at what he wanted to keep doing, and was always family first. He wasn't one of these guys like, all right, I'm going to Spain, I'll see you in 3 months. He was like, all right, we're all going to Spain. All right, we're going to Italy, we're going to the Philippines, we're going to Mexico, we're going to the moon, He would have his deals structured in such a way that we were, we would get extra tickets and hotel stuff.
Which had to be the coolest thing ever when you guys were kids.
Yeah, it wasn't, because you get to a certain age and school is actually fun for a minute and you're making friends, and then it's like you're just kind of abducted, by aliens, and you just vanish one day and then you wake up and you're in a different part of the universe. But it was cool culturally. It was, I think, eye-opening to just get a sense that the world was a lot bigger than Malibu,
By the way, what was the deal with sleeping bags in
houses that's one of those details that Emilio reminded me of when I talked about that first place on Point Dume. It was on Birdview Avenue. And he said, dude, I don't know if you remember, but we were all in one room for a year in sleeping bags.
And why?
Because Dad wasn't making the kind of dough that everybody just assumes he was, and he was job to job, check to check, and so you're renting places, and food was more important than actual beds. And a bunch of kids are sleeping. Hey, we're camping for a year, so it's just what we had to do,
How about what you remember from your very first silent Super 8 film camera?
I literally have memories of the Ireland experience with that Move Zoom 2000. And it was, we were fascinated by it. We have one piece of equipment that is, it's not as big or as fancy, but it's what Dad uses to do his job. But it wasn't a hobby at first, it was a passion. As soon as we knew that we could document things and create stories and play characters, and we were just copying, if he was building houses, we'd be probably banging nails somewhere, so it was kind of like that. But I do remember that Emilio shoots me, or I don't know how he subdued me, but I had to roll down and die in the shot. But my shirt came up and my back was laying in a patch of stinging nettles. And it started burning and itching and starting to spread, and he hadn't cut yet. And I remember not wanting to ruin the shot at 7 or 8, And I finally was just like, this, I'm out, and just started screaming and running. And then he did say, you ruined the shot. But there is that theme in the book about, pain is temporary, film's forever.
And the whole neighborhood kind of got in.
They did,
on it, right?
Yeah.
And Sean Penn was even
Sean
one
was
of
there.
the big early supporters.
Sure. Oh yeah.
You'd assess your academic performance how?
It was a complete disaster. Yeah, I mean, it was okay for a minute.
Why was it okay for a minute?
Because it was still, the experience was still fun. And it didn't...
Through middle school.
Yeah. But then, yeah, high school, everything changed. It just got, the place was too big, there was too many people, there were too much responsibility. They were asking a lot, you know, and insisting that we spend so much time trying to learn a bunch of shit that I knew would never apply or matter anywhere else except in those classrooms. And I always felt like it was just busy work and that whole thing. Well, it's important to learn how to learn. Well, it's also important to learn to, you know, live how to live, you know? And yeah, so and then I got the car. You know, you get a car and suddenly you're not at the mercy of where the bus stops or tells you to get off. Yeah, no, that opened up a whole new part of the universe for me, you know?
You were close to passing biology.
I was.
Though, right?
No, well, biology is the one I needed to stay on the team.
Right.
Stay on the baseball team.
I mean, had you played it a little differently.
Yeah, had I like
sat at the desk for
another 20 minutes maybe, yeah. Yeah, had I gotten like a 81 or a 74 instead of 100%.
When I was reading that in the book, I can completely picture the situation.
Sure.
I mean, is it that visible to you now when you look back on the moment?
I'm still baffled how I didn't miss intentionally one question. It doesn't get a lot more stupid. I don't have a fancy word for it. So yeah, that killed the baseball dream, and then, well, you know, the rest with that last final, you know.
I mean, I guess reality is the baseball dream. Probably the best thing that could have happened was it
I think
not
so.
working out
I
because
think so.
it gave you the ability to pursue this other childhood
Sure,
passion.
or the motivation to
Yeah.
at least, yeah. Yeah, it is pretty ironic though that the one class that, you know, decided whether, you know, I get a diploma or not was English. And then there I am writing a story about that in a book that I'm writing. I just wish Mrs. Farmer was still alive to read it.
And you did end up getting the diploma.
I did, yeah, on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Yeah, they finally realized enough time had gone by. I was only a credit and a half short. And they were like, just give it to him. Get him out of our hair, you know?
MGM and the Karate Kid. How about when you look back on your dad's advice today? How do you reflect on that?
It's good today. It sucked in the moment
How so?
because it killed an opportunity that could have been really life-changing, you know? I shouldn't say it sucked in the moment. It was probably the right thing in the moment, just looking back, but we can't look forward in the moment, right? And even when we look back, we can't change anything about it. So you can't have regret because unless you just want to stay stuck in that piece of time, it's probably a good thing. I don't know that I would have kept the job once it started because I didn't have enough experience to take on something that required, you know, all those nuances that.
How so?
Well, if you look at the performance, if you look at what Ralph did with it, it's a fantastic performance. You can't really picture anyone else doing it, and so it's just one of those roles that I don't know that the film would have been as successful. I don't know that it would have. I just would have had a different take on it, you know, than what he brought to it. But he was already coming off of a couple of decent-sized films and had the confidence and the experience to deliver on that one that I didn't.
It would have been yours. You just had a conflict with a lesser project.
With the Grizzly thing, yeah.
But your dad, to his credit, said, "Your word's your word."
Yeah, no, yeah. Which was great advice. That one big film won't carry you as far as a noble reputation in this business. I realize now he helped me more than he hurt me with that advice.